Welcome to today's video where I teach you how to speed paint an Uruk warrior in less than 10 minutes. So we've started off with an undercoat of grey cere. Then what we're doing is applying a base coat of iron warriors. I've thinned this down on my wet palette to make it flow off the brush easier, and you want it to hit all of the armour plating, the helmet, the weapon, the boots. Just make sure all of that's covered. And once it's done, this is the finished effect that you'd have. See all of that plate mail, the chain mail, all of that's been covered in a couple of nice thin layers. Moving on, I then use contrast paint, Guilliman Flesh, and I'm going on all the fleshy areas. Now this isn't the colour that I want the flesh to be in the end product, but it gives a really good base layer and lets a bit of colour get into those recesses, so don't be afraid to pull it on quite thick. And then you can push it around using your brush so that you don't have massive clumps of it. And when you're done, this is how it'll look. From there, we're taking the Citadel Contrast Wildwood and we're going to paint in the loincloth. We're going to paint in the straps, because there's quite a few straps on the back of this model. We're going to paint in the hair as well. So the Uruk have sort of 3-4 different colours of hair, but it's quite easy to not have to mess around with different colours and just use the same one for the hair, because it works quite well with the model, so there's no issue there. Then we go on to the step that everybody loves, where we're going to use Nuln Oil to give the entire model a really good wash, making sure that we get it into all of the recesses. I don't think I'll need to teach you about how to use Nuln Oil. Just make sure you're hitting all those ridges so that you get some nice definition. Now, something a bit different. So I've used the Citadel Glaze Bloodletter. Now, it's a fairly old paint actually, so I imagine that there is a newer version of it now. But what I've done is, obviously, over the base coat of the Guilliman Flesh and then the Nuln Oil, I'm now applying the Bloodletter over the top to give a more Uruk skin tone. It's brightening it up slightly while leaving all the dark areas behind that the Nuln Oil and the contrast paint has created, to give quite a nice finish, I think. Then I'm just going back in there with some Iron Warriors again, and I'm just hitting some areas of the armour plate just to bring back a little bit of lightness to it. You can take quite a while at this step if you want and really make all the plates pop, but this is a speed painting video, so I'm really trying to just rattle through these so that I can get them up to tabletop standard. There's a lot further that you could push this to make it even better, but as you can see with this finished result, that's more than acceptable to take to a tournament and place down on the table. You can definitely take it a lot further, obviously get the teeth done, make sure you're capturing all those edges, but I think this is a perfectly acceptable model to use to get you playing quickly. Thanks very much, everybody.